All right, welcome in week 6 recap, and you are blessed with the presence of the worst two teams in fantasy football. Me and Kyle, both 3-9, and welcome on. I mean, we've been representing the top of the league all year with all the teams winning weekly prizes. Andre won his third weekly prize in 6 games so far. So I figured, why not get the bottom of the league this time? Got to represent the whole league, right?
Yeah, I got to get the bottom of the barrel. No,
That's right.
there's a reason I got the trophy behind me here. I'm cherishing every moment of it, and just looking to finish the year strong
Yeah. Well,
and
in the
talk about
last
some other matchups.
in the last 2 weeks, though, I mean, you started out 0-8. Last 2 weeks, now you're 3-1. Got 2 wins this week. Really close matchup between you and Chris, 115 to 114 in what was a remarkably low scoring week, like probably the lowest scoring week I've seen in a really long time. The league median was 111 points. You and Chris in your game, 115 to 114, both got a win against the median, which I'm old enough to remember when I scored 132 and went 0-2 a few weeks ago. And 111 was enough for it this week. So it took, Brandon McManus almost coming all the way back to get to you. And it was definitely pretty scary for you, but you held on.
Yeah, so I didn't watch. I went to bed at halftime of that game, and that halftime, McManus just had a kick. I believe he had 108 points at the time, and I was thinking,
108.
he had 100.
Chris did.
Chris had 108 points at the time, and I was going to bed thinking I was
up
losing.
7. Yep.
Yeah, so I was going to bed thinking that I was going to lose that game because
Yep.
he had a really good first half, and I didn't want to watch it, so
Yeah.
I did not. Woke up the next morning. Actually, the first text I saw was Sam being like, "Never, Kyle, never a doubt." I was like, oh no! So I checked the score, and it was 1 point.
Yep.
But yeah, that was definitely scary. So.
Yep. And the game went into overtime and had Denver won with a game-winning kick. Now, Chris told me before the matchup, before the Broncos game, I'm going to win on a Brandon McManus game-winning field goal. If Denver got the ball in I told him he was nuts. He's not going to come close. If Denver had won in overtime with a field goal instead of the Chargers, that would have done it for him. Basically, if it was anywhere, even a 19-yard field goal would have been enough to do it. So, but it was the Chargers, and you held on by 1 point.
Yeah, hey, win's a win. I'll take them any way I can get them right now. Median, regular matchup. I need all.
And
you
got
the
2.
I can get.
You got 2 to move to 3-9, still in 10th place. But really, though, I mean, both of us are down at the last 2 spots in the league, both at 3-9. But there's 3 teams in the league right now, all at 5-7, right? The 3 spots ahead of us.
Yep.
Nobody's out of it. I mean, both of us still are, you could go on a winning streak. I'm playing Hilshi next week, who's 5-7. If I go 2-0 and he goes 0-2, we're going to have the same record. So it's pretty close still. And as much as it feels worse because of the double matchups and having 9 losses on your record, you can make them up just as quickly by going 2-0. So, I mean, it's still, we're both still in it. Especially for you, if Jamar Chase can get back to being himself like he did this week. 32 points for him was huge. And 16 from George Kittle too. So you finally got a little something out of Kittle as well. So that was huge. Yep, that's right. Chris came just short, got the win against the median though. So he went 1-1. He's one of those 5-7 teams. He is the team in 8th place. Alvin Kamara starting to look like himself again. Najee has been one of the most disappointing picks in the first 2 rounds this season.
Yeah, I did not see that coming, but yeah, it just has not been, because Pittsburgh has not been good at all.
Right.
Either, but,
yeah. Right. So Chris definitely has his concerns, but he got 2 wins this week, and he is all about DeAndre Hopkins coming back this week. So he's going to have him back for the Thursday night matchup. And I know he's expecting big things out of Hopkins. So we'll see. And so for my matchup, I did get a win. Barely 104 to 98 in kind of a gross matchup. I only needed 9 points last night between Mike Williams, Cortland Sutton, and Gerald Everett, and I barely got it. It was a gross game, especially for my 3 players. I thought, I wasn't even really considering the fact that I could lose to Noah. I was just thinking, I hope they have decent games to get to the league median. And then by the 3rd quarter, I was like, please just let me beat Noah. And I did it. I went 1-1. So still 3-9, still in ninth place. That was super disappointing in such a low scoring week where I had 89 points with three, supposed to be good players left. I thought for sure I was on my way to going 2-0 this week. So that was disappointing not to get the median, but did get the win 1-1. Christian McCaffrey, been playing great lately, 22 points.
Best player that doesn't score touchdowns.
Best player that doesn't score touchdowns. Never scored touchdowns. But the fact that he's getting 7, 8, 9 catches a game now, that's why I drafted him first, because I figure even if he doesn't get touchdowns, he can still get over 20 points. And that's exactly what's been happening the last couple of weeks. Yep. Jalen Hurts, even on what felt like a down week, still put up 20. And my last second decision to start Benjamin over Melvin Gordon, because I had Jacobs on bye, ended up winning me my matchup, even though after I played Benjamin, I was feeling pretty bad about it, only getting 9.5. But that was like 8.7 more than Melvin Gordon got, who just got completely supplanted by Latavius Murray, which being the biggest Javonte Williams guy ever, I'll claim myself as that. And then losing him and obviously being so frustrated for the last year and a half with Gordon taking all the carries from him, it is so much more frustrating. The fact that as soon as Williams goes down, now they're not using Melvin Gordon. Like, you had this guy, Javonte is unbelievable if you watch him play. He gets 8 carries and gets 70 yards and a touchdown. And they just kept giving Melvin Gordon as many or more carries. Now you get Latavius Murray and Mike Boone, is that his name? Yeah. And Melvin Gordon's just out of it now. So that's super frustrating. I was concerned about that with the injury and a Monday night game and all that. So that's why I played but I'm glad I did.
Yeah. And you continue to have Mike Williams, who is just the classic either 3 points or 25 points, and there's no in between.
And the thing about him is that 5 minutes into the game, like it is without a doubt, 5 minutes into the game after their first drive, he either already has 7 points, and I know it's going to be a 20 to 25 point week, or he wasn't targeted, and I'm hoping for 5. It's just right away. And it's what I expected, but Sutton's been fine up until this week, even though the Broncos haven't been great, but he had 2 catches for 14 yards. So that was real bad. So that was tough. I haven't been able to figure out Jalen Waddle since I got him. I played him the first 2 weeks and he combined for 9 points when I played him. And then I sat him in this week because they had Skylar Thompson playing quarterback. He leaves, Bridgewater comes in, and Waddle gets 16. So I haven't been able to figure out Waddle yet. So
I have a couple hit or miss. And for Noah, having a big week from Schuster, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned it as well. Obviously, not having Henry or Swift is going to be tough.
Excuses, I would have beat him even if he had Derrick. What's Derrick Henry going to do to me? I mean, come on. Nick Chubb only got 8 points. That was huge for me. And I actually figured out my defense and kicker. I managed not to combine for -2 like I have most weeks. And I just went all in on the Patriots. Go Nick Folk, Patriots defense. And they get me over 20. So that was nice to be able to finally come through there. It was super frustrating watching Juju run all over me because he has done absolutely nothing all season. And then I played him this week and he goes for 22, but I held on. Kyler's been disappointing for Noah. So hopefully
you don't have to tell me, I traded him.
Yep. So hopefully for Noah, get Hopkins back. Maybe that helps, but he did lose Marquise Brown now for a little bit. So, that'll be tough for him, but I still believe that Noah is going to be very scary when he has Henry, Swift, and Chubb.
That's scary 3 right there.
I mean, that might be 2 of the top 3 running backs in the league and probably easily 3 of the top 10. I mean,
yeah. Yep.
So, but that's what Noah does. He gets 3 of the top 10 running backs every year.
Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, Andre, 3rd weekly prize in 6 weeks so far. He's already made $90 back out of the $200 that he paid for this league through 6 weeks, 168 to 108 in a blowout over Sam, who is the number 2 team in the league. And, I mean, it wasn't even like he got anything from Lamar ever since Bateman's been out, really the last 3 weeks. I mean, Lamar has gone from scoring 50 to scoring 15, like it's 18 this week. However, Ramondre came through with 25. Diggs was one of the best receivers this week with 30. And everybody, I mean, he started it just I mean, picking up off waivers and throwing Deion Jackson into the flex and getting 28
that was
points.
the play of the week right there. I could not, when I looked at Andre's roster, I couldn't believe he was starting him, and then to have that many points, that was like, that's unreal.
That was a great play. I mean, obviously it made, once Taylor was ruled out, I guess it makes sense, but still to be able to have the guts to just pick him up and throw him right into your starting lineup and getting 28. I mean, from Ramondre and Deion Jackson combining for 53 points. I mean, that's really good. And getting, Mark Andrews, consistently one of the best tight ends, 23. It's him and Kelsey and then everybody else, and then Debo with 16. So it was just overall a solid week. I mean, the fact that he can put up 168 while getting 18 from Lamar is definitely scary.
So good. He fell in our league a little bit. I forget where Diggs went. And he's the number one receiver. He's been so good this year.
I feel like everybody overlooked him. I mean, last year he didn't have a lot of touchdowns, so he kind of wasn't as good as he was the year before. But having Josh Allen and being his top target in that offense, Diggs is right up there with Kupp and Jefferson, and Andre obviously got him a lot later. Sam, another 32 is just average for Josh Allen at this point. And his running backs were fine with even without having Jonathan Taylor. He put in Kenneth Walker. Getting him 19 was a good play, but receivers didn't really do too much. He lost that Taysom Hill magic. Only 4 points from his tight end, who was
fun while it lasted.
I was talking with Bart and Zach earlier, and we were laughing because Taysom Hill right now is the number 6 tight end on the season. Take a guess at how many receiving yards the number 6 tight end in the league has on the year.
I'm looking right now.
You're supposed to guess.
Sorry. I was looking.
He has 2.
Oh, does he have 2?
He has 2
reception, 2 yards.
He has two receiving yards, and he's the number 6 tight end on the season. Didn't come through for Sam this week. Sam didn't play Kyle Pitts, and he finally got a touchdown.
Yes, I did notice that. Only 10 points, but yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Wouldn't have made a difference in the matchup. Would have made a difference in the median though?
It would have.
6. Yeah, it would have.
Sam only missed the median by 3 points, so I know that was tough for him to just come up short there. But big blowout. This is the biggest blowout of the week, 60-point win. Sam's still sitting in second place at 8-4. Andre in fourth at 7-5. Team Facefuck got a big win over Jake, Jake third place. His team's been great all season, but 78 points. This was the worst performance we've seen so far this year. So
that's what he gets for starting Carson.
I was word for word just gonna say that's what you get for starting Carson Wentz.
That's so bad.
Quarterback gets 99 passing yards. Jake's quarterback had barely more passing yards than Sam's tight end did. And I mean 78 while getting 16 from Mixon, 20 from Breece Hall, I loved Breece Hall, but I didn't expect him to start out this quick. Like I thought, rookie, he's going to take a little bit.
The Jets have just looked so good.
Somehow.
So they've been able to stay in games and run the ball where normally the Jets back in the day used to be, they're down 3 touchdowns early and then you have to abandon the run game.
So Breece has been awesome. So that's a positive for Jake. But after that, I mean, besides those 3, Mixon, Breece Hall, and Cooper Kupp with 16, which again, 16 for Cooper Kupp is like he might as well have gotten 0. Yeah. But Wentz 4, Evans 8, Higbee 1, Hunt 1, Tucker 6, Bucks 3. So that was the rest of his lineup. Team Facefuck getting a win while starting Geno Smith. So that's pretty impressive. Leonard Fournette with 22.
Waiting for Deshaun Watson to get back.
They are. And, they started the backup running back, actually the 3rd string running back for Washington, Antonio Gibson, who got 8 points. Gabe Davis came through with 16. Michael Pittman finally, had a huge game for them. So that was enough for them to get 127, which I believe was the 2nd highest score in the league. It was. So that shows you how this week was.
Yeah, we kind of, we were worrying about their running backs when Bart and Zach drafted. But honestly, we shit on the Fournette pick. He's the number 5 running back in the league right now. He's been great all year. Yeah. Obviously, I think they had Pierce on a bye, who looked really good the last 2 weeks before the bye. So I think he's going to be there. So, I mean, that team's going to be, if they can figure it out at quarterback, that's going to be a tough team come playoff time.
Definitely. So team face fuck with the win, moving to 6-6, fifth place. Jake 8-4 in third. The last matchup of the week, Drew, our first place team in the league at 10-2, 127-91 over Hilshi. He had 24 from Eckler, who's been amazing, 29 from Tyreek Hill, 19 from Kelsey. Again, huge advantage at that position. And Hilshi's been struggling lately too.
He has been, yeah, right. Well, starting with Herbert and Jones, just like those players have just been so consistent the last 3 or 4 years, and then or Herbert anyways, but then like out of the blue, like Herbert and the Chargers look like they suck. And then Green Bay used to be able to run the ball at will. Looks like they can't run the ball either. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I had just traded to Ryan with 3. And that's just, obviously Jefferson's going to do his thing, but he's almost like Cup now, where 16 for Jefferson is like basically nothing.
Right.
So that's going to be tough for him.
But
Drew with Eckler has just been unreal all year. Tyreek Hill is scary, and this feels like, what was it, 2 years ago when Drew won all over again? But maybe the team around him wasn't great, but he had Kelsey, which just made up for everything.
It does. It really does. So,
and Drew has Kelsey now, but with like a better cast around him than he did a couple of years ago. So his team's obviously going to be scary all the way until the end.
Definitely. All right, we're back with this commercial breakdown and recap. I don't know how this is going to come out, but we'll find out. So Drew, 10-2, first place, and Hilshi 5-7, 7th place. So Hilshi's one of those 5-7 teams right in the middle of the league there, and a lot of teams sitting there right next to each other. Between 5th place and 10th is really only 3 games off. So the whole
one big week really swings it.
Whole back half of the league is going to be really competitive. So looking forward to next week now. I've got Ryan Hilshi. So like I mentioned, if I can go 2-0, you can go 0-2, we'd be the same. But I'm really thinking wishful thinking there. Me versus Hilshi. I'm in 9th. He's in 7th. We got Noah 5-7 in 6th place, taking on Bart and Zach, who are 6-6 in 5th. Chris 5-7 at 8th place, taking on Sam at 8-4. Sam looking to bounce back, and you're taking on Drew. So we got the last place versus the first place team, 3-9 versus 10-2, and then the matchup of the week is going to be Jake T, 3rd place, coming off a 78-point performance, looking to bounce back, going up against Andre, who's going to be trying to win his 4th weekly prize in 7 weeks.
A low score versus the highest score.
So hopefully we see some more scoring than we did last week. So, the sleeper app's giving you a 50-50 chance against the top team in the league. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. So right now, like I haven't looked through Drew's yet, but right now, like I don't have a defense. Like my defense is on a bye. Like if I looked at Drew's team right now, maybe I'm assuming that he might have some people too. It's going to change throughout the week. But no, I feel as confident in my team now as I have all year. I think I'm a lot better than I was a couple of weeks ago. That being said, Eckler and Tyreek Hill, Kelsey just scares the crap out of me. So it's going to have to take me having a very, very good week in order to beat Drew.
Definitely.
But something I'm going to have to string together a couple 2-0 weeks in a row if I really want to get back in it. So something I'll be striving for.
All right. Well, keep holding on to that trophy, polishing it as best you can. I mean, certainly not out of it just yet, but you just want to savor it when you're sitting at 3-9 for sure. So,
absolutely.
I know I would be.
Yes.
So, all right. Thanks for joining me. Week 6 recap, Kyle, and good luck against Drew next week.
Thank you. Good luck to you as well.
Thanks.